This week's mini lesson, we're going to talk about different styles of content that you guys can start creating with your clients slash just by yourself. Let's
You want
get
to close an
into it.
ungodly amount of
All right, this week I actually experimented with a new style of content and it actually freaking worked for my content as well. I thought I loved, let's just watch this video. I loved her style of content. It's a skit style. And so I decided to go in my car and role play a couple of different situations. And a video of mine just hit like 50,000 views on Instagram and 80,000 views on TikTok. When both platforms tend to go viral, I'm thinking this obviously is something that works and that's a good piece of content. And so I was like, let me create a couple more pieces of content like this and other videos hitting like 10, 11,000 views. So this is a style that really works. It's more engaging and it's different than what most people do when they are doing content creation. Just keep this in mind for creating content for yourself, but also creating content for your clients too. So let's watch this video.
Stop overthinking
If
you want to close an ungodly amount of deals and sales, you have to start thinking like an 8-year-old. Yes, an 8-year-old kid.
Wait,
8-year-olds understand.
Can you guys hear? Can you hear that? Hopefully you can hear. Let me see. Hopefully you can hear. Let's just go here.
You want to close an ungodly amount of deals and sales, you have to start thinking like an 8-year-old. Yes, an 8-year-old kid. 8-year-olds understand what somebody wants. They cut the bullshit and they just get straight to the point. For example, the proper sales conversation looks like this. Our company is going to leverage our synergistic solutions to optimize your bottom line, drive sustainable growth, all while maximizing ROI. Like, no, that's not enticing. Doesn't make me want to spend money. But now we've got the 8-year-old. Hey, Dad, will you buy me this toy? No, absolutely not. Put it back. Dad, you said you wanted to spend more time with me. So listen, if we get this football, then we could play together after school all day. All I want to do is spend more time with you, Dad. Fine, throw it in the cart. Now, why did they?
Anyways, this is a really good example of a dialogue between two people, right? She is either posing as herself, and then also she's posing as her ideal client slash person that's like objecting, right? So in this situation, it was like the objection. She's posing as the dad, right? The dad versus the boy. You can kind of do the same thing with your content. For my style of content, I posed as a client versus me, right? And I had this dialogue going back and forth, and then it came on as the actual educator, me, telling people kind of what to do. And the video did really, really well. This is one style of content that really works. And you can kind of do that with your own content. For you guys, I would do content along the lines of, oh, I can't actually grow on social media. And then you come in and be like, oh, you're probably not doing X, Y, and Z. Go in and actually start educating. And then you're giving an insane amount of value in a more interesting way than just saying, here's 3 reasons or 3 ways to X, Y, and Z. It makes the content so much more engaging.
Stop overthinking your content.
This girl is killing it. She's 19 years old. She owns a social media management business and she's making $5 million, I think, a year in her agency. She has 30 employees as well. Crazy. Her videos are, I think her URL or her at is personal brand launch. Go look at her. Her editing style is amazing, but also just the value she says in her content is amazing. But she said, I've noticed a key thing with her content is she makes a video, right? And then she has all of these different like kind of editing styles or angles that she actually does with her content. When you're just like sitting and you're creating a piece of content, it just is a little boring. And I've noticed that with like when I'm filming my clients too and whatnot, it's boring. Like I'm like, okay, there's like unless you add in like a crazy amount of overlays and zooms and text on screen and editing time, it's just freaking boring. So what she does is I'll show you.
Here's how to finish your next reel by end of day. Step number 1, ideation.
She changes up the setting.
Spaghetti at the wall and create your own video topics. Study what actually works in your niche. Go to the Instagram Explore page, type in your niche, go to the Reels tab, and save videos that are over 1 million views. Step number 2, script.
And then she just changes the setting and then the scenery slash the angles of how she's filming. So if you want to just like talk to the camera one way, just switch like in one scene, switch it over here in the next scene, switch it over here in the next scene. So then you're having all of these different kind of angles and it makes the video a lot more engaging than maybe just a one video and you're just talking. Really good style of content. Next, carousels. I really slept on carousels for so long. This also really worked for me. What works super well is this girl doesn't have a photo of herself. If you have a photo of yourself or maybe a picture of you working with a client and you're trying to kind of tell a story, it really works. So 7 days Instagram stories done for you. This is the hook, obviously, and you swipe, and then she goes into the value. This one thing I want to point out
Stop
is
overthinking your content.
if you create a video like this, every concept can actually be made into a carousel. So if you want to try different formats, you can see which format kind of works for you best. So for every topic you have, I would test the different formats of the videos or the content ideas that you have with different formats. That's what I've done with my content. Also, because there's only so much you can talk about and so many ideas you can come up with. So it maximizes the output, right, of how much you're putting out on the internet, but also at the same time, you're testing to see what works. So this is a really good strategy. Again, take the other concepts that you created and then just put them in a carousel. Carousels, I like to do photos with my carousels and then also text on screen above the carousel. You can do this in Canva or you can do it in TikTok or Instagram. And then also you can do some sort of like graphic when you're swiping. This really works well with content and gives imagery. So this obviously was made in Canva, but this would be a graphic style that you create. And I'll show you guys an example of my content too. I'll just have to go to the Instagram to see that. Okay. And yes, this is almost done, and then we'll go into Q&A. Okay, like I just said, one piece of content can be made into different styles of videos or different formats. And that is going to be how you save a lot of time when you're scripting your content. I script content for probably 1 to 2 hours a week for my content, for literally my page's content / another client's content. So it takes time to come up with ideas. It takes your energy. It takes a lot of exploration on TikTok or on Instagram. By doing this, you're maximizing your content and also saving yourself a lot of time. And most of the time, people won't notice at all. So just create for every content idea, make a talking head video, a voiceover, a B-roll, carousel, graphic. And then also you're testing what works with this entire kind of thing. Oh, one more. Oh, I didn't put the right thing in here. Dang it. Okay, well, anyways, I was supposed to put in an interview style, and then I think I had a coaching call and got distracted. But basically, an interview style video always, 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 always works. Even if like you're with a client and you do like an interview style with a client, that also is a really good content idea and it makes it more engaging. So if you are talking about Instagram best practices or TikTok best practices and you're going on with dialogue with the client and there's two people there and you're kind of educating in a different way, sometimes it performs better. I've seen this with my content too. Okay, I think that is it for today's mini lesson. Let's see if I had no, I didn't. I'll show you real quick what I'm talking about. So I tried the car kind of style video dialogue and it performed really freaking well. Better than I thought. 49,000 views on Instagram, 80,000 views on TikTok. And then this one got 12. So I know this style works for me, right? And so I would try that with your content, just the dialogue going back and forth. Also pay attention to the topics that you're talking about, because certain topics do better than others, depending on what your niche is. And then trying to find my carousel. I'll give you an example of a carousel that I did. This is something that you guys could do. Viral hooks that I've used as a social media manager / creator. This got like I think over 100,000 views, 3,000 likes, which is crazy. Copy these to go viral. Again, I made this in TikTok. I then screenshotted something from my iPhone and put it in Canva to create. So I have a mixture of photos, text on screen, graphics. That's the secret formula for a viral carousel, in my opinion. Obviously, the topics and the value that you're putting on these are also very important. So just keep in mind to like go the extra mile with your content and try to put a ton of value with what you're saying on the actual carousels and like the verbiage of what you're saying. It also grew this count to like a ton of followers, so it really works. Those are the things that are working right now for me at least. And this wasn't just like I didn't come out of nowhere with this stuff. I was actually doing a lot of research to see what style of content does well. And I'm like, when I'm going through these feeds, I'm thinking, okay, why did this video do well? Okay, how could I replicate that? This is has a lot of different angles. This is also just a really engaging, interesting video. But just go through and ask yourself, why do you think these pieces of content are performing better than others? Now let's go into question and answer.